Hey, course 1, lesson 91 is called Geometric Formulas, and it teaches us how to use something called a formula, something we'll use a lot in math, maybe a term I've tossed out there, maybe prematurely, let's make sure we understand it today. A formula is like a recipe that will teach us to bake, whether it's a cake, like the area of a triangle, or a pie, like perimeter of a rectangle. We can follow the same recipe to solve that type of problem each time. So we're talking especially about geometric, so geometry formulas that help us with area and perimeter of different shapes. For example, area equals 1 over 2 times b times h. When you put things right next to each other, it means we're multiplying. Now, what do you think these letters stand for? We're finding area of a certain type of shape. The area is a half times, what's b, you think? Base. And I said it means times. So I guess I could put a times here as well. H stands for height. Which formula is that? Do you know? That's finding the formula of a rectangle. Or, sorry, triangle. That's the formula of a triangle. I was drawing a triangle as I said the wrong shape. Another example would be P is 2 times L plus 2 times W. What formula does this look like, or do you know? What do you think P stands for? The P, the letter is taking the place of the longer word, perimeter. Now we're finding perimeter of a rectangle here. You can find perimeter by adding up all the sides, or for short, since the lengths are always going to be the same, you could just say 2 times one of the lengths plus 2 times one of the width. So those are formulas. They'll help us bake the right cake or pie each time, depending on what we're trying to do and what type of shape. Here are the different formulas you should know today. For squares, we've got perimeter, which is 4 times s because all the sides are the same. You don't need to split it up like the rectangle. We also have area of a square, which is side times itself, because again, the s doesn't change, so s squared, or side times itself. That's really what it's saying. Perimeter of a rectangle, we said area of a rectangle, length times width is familiar. Parallelogram. Parallelogram's perimeter is always 2 times the base plus 2 times the side. And its area, kind of like length times width, but we think of it as a base and a height times. Finally, triangles, we mentioned the area, but perimeter of a triangle, side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3. That's kind of how we show the different sides. We want to call them all s because side starts with s, but to keep them straight, we talk about side 1, side 2. These are called subscript numbers, little numbers right beneath side 3. So just shorthand to help you keep this all straight. Here are those shapes again, kind of helping show what we're talking about here. So we're finding maybe perimeter, or we might find area. We're not doing volume today. We don't have to go this depth, this third dimension, not today. But that has a formula too. Parallelograms, right, means that these two are parallel and these two are parallel. Just base times height. And when you multiply base and height, divide it by 2 for a triangle, remember the height is always the perpendicular height, where it says it's 90 degrees from the base. That might be outside the triangle, might be inside the triangle. It's good to remember it's not this and it's not this. It's the base and this is the height. Easier to see in a right triangle because you just use this one and this one. Geometric formulas. So if example 1 tells you to write the formula for perimeter of a rectangle, first step is just to remember on the previous page, this page 474 gives you the answer anytime it asks you that. Perimeter, I think it's out of a rectangle. Rectangle, perimeter, so you just write P equals 2L plus 2W. The book gives you the answer. And they show us here what that looks like again. Then it says substitute 8 centimeters for the length, 5 centimeters for the width. What they're basically saying is, and you could draw it if you want, you have a rectangle. You're going to need to find its perimeter. You need to know its dimensions to do that. The width is 5, the length is 8. Find perimeter. When it says substitute, it's because you're thinking about this formula. You're thinking of changing the L to what it's actually worth, an 8. Changing the W to what it's actually worth, a 5. So it's perimeter 2 times length plus 2 parentheses the measure for width. This will give you the perimeter of the rectangle. 16 plus 10 is 26. Check it the way we used to do it. If that's 8, this is 8. If this is 5, this is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. 8 plus 8 is 16, and there you have it. It is 26. Perimeter is 26. So you write the formula, you substitute in the numbers where the letters are on the formula to find whatever geometric measure they're looking for. Let's do A and B for lesson practice today.